and our special guest, Larry David.
Is love. And I love you too. I love you too.
Wow. Now that's a great welcome.
Turn those cell phones off. I was in the theater last night, and I just got this BlackBerry, and all of a sudden my wife says to me, "Did you turn it off?" I said, "Oh my God," you know. And I didn't know how to turn it off. I was thinking, if this thing rings, I'm going to throw it down the aisle. What am I going to do?
I guess it didn't ring.
No, it didn't.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's obviously incredibly great pleasure for me to be up here with Larry. I've been a huge fan of yours for an incredibly long time, as I'm sure everyone here is, and it's really an honor to have Larry with us. And I just want to make sure everybody understands the way we're going to work this. We're going to talk for a while, and at the end we'll do a little Q&A. Okay?
Giving you instructions. Pay close attention.
Listen.
Tell them again. Yeah.
Well, they'll figure it out as we go along. Well, everybody knows Larry from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sure everyone here has seen that show, which has become his second classic show, I would say. He's done two of the classic comedies of the current generation, which is quite an achievement. Do people tell you that all the time, Larry?
Magnificent achievements. When I go to sleep at night, I can hardly believe that's all happened to me.
Well, of the many times you've been interviewed about Curb Your Enthusiasm, I can probably predict what the first thing everyone asks you is.
Yeah.
Which is that really the way you are? Are you really the Larry David that we see in that show?
Absolutely. That is the most asked question that I get.
Exactly.
Not only is it the most asked question that I get, it's the most asked question that anybody who knows me gets, and the cast, you know.
Right.
And I've given the answer. I'll repeat my answer, and the answer is, that's the guy that I wish I was. I love that guy. This is the guy I cannot stand. That guy, mwah. I can't get enough of that guy. That guy does the things I wish I could do.
Right. Well,
He behaves the way I want to behave.
so you actually have never quite behaved like that in your life? I think there have been some instances, haven't there, where you felt kind of like that guy feels, I would imagine.
You know, not that often. Not that often, really. I mean, when I lived in New York and I didn't have a nickel, I was a little more out there. You know, I'd see a couple on the street, "Stop, take your hands off her!" "What do you love?" You know, I was so hostile. I hated everybody.
Right.
I'd see a couple having a meal in a restaurant. I'd go up to the window, give them a look. You know, I was so bitter. And
Yeah.
I had nothing. No prospects, nothing, you know,
Yeah.
so, you know, I wasn't that far from being a guy who would talk to people in the streets, you know.
You just passed by,
I was
yeah.
closing in on that kind of insanity, where I'd be screaming in the streets, you know.
And how did you get away from that? How did you change your life? How did this...
Well, I started doing stand-up,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and that helped.
And you yelled at the audience, though.
Huh?
Then you could yell at the audience.
I did yell at the audience, yeah.
All right. Famously, you had confrontations occasionally with the audience.
Occasionally, I would have a little confrontation, yeah. They weren't kind of getting it, you know.
Right.
"What's the matter with you people? Oh, this is not good for you? You don't get this stuff?" You know, I was insane.
I read a thing once where you were at a club, I guess, and you were going to do stand-up, and you walked out on the stage, and you looked at the audience, and you said, "No, I don't think so."
Yeah,
Did that happen, really?
yeah, it's true. I did it once. I was at Catch a Rising Star. They introduced me, and I came out. It was a big crowd. I kind of took a look at them, and I didn't really like what I saw. And I went, "No, I don't think so."
Well, obviously, a lot of the comedians at the time thought, you had a terrific, unique voice. I'm sure you heard that all the time, and you thought you were kind of like a cult figure more than a star at that point, right? I mean, you kind of hit with a small, intimate crowd of people, but not necessarily you weren't breaking through, right?
No, I was not breaking through. The comedians did like me, though.
Yeah.
They used to come in to watch me, which was nice. I've also told this story, but I'll tell it again. One night at the Improv, I got off stage, and this guy came up to me and he said, "My name is Jim McCawley, and I'm the talent coordinator for The Tonight Show, and you can't come on the show." Honest to God, he said, Johnny wouldn't like you.
Had you dreamed, like many comedians, that you would be on The Tonight Show one day?
No,
You
couldn't
hadn't?
care less.
Couldn't care less?
Couldn't care less.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Because you didn't think that was the kind of act?
I just didn't give a shit about being on The Tonight Show.
Well, if we had seen your act in those days, would we recognize the comedy that you do now? Was it that kind of an act? Was it a...
It was eclectic. Mm-hmm. You guys know what that word means? I don't know. I was younger then, and I wasn't married. A lot of it was very personal stuff about women, and a lot of it was very silly stuff. So it was a kind of a mixture. Yeah.
Well,
and a lot of it was a lot of it was very kind of social. Some of it was topical. So I think eclectic was the right word there.
Sounds good. Well, the reason I ask is one of the things that fascinates me about the show you do now is that you have many, many different, very offbeat ideas that you work into a show, and it intrigues me whether you go through life picking those ideas up and thinking about them as ways to turn them into comedy. There was a show you did, an episode you did early, I think, in Curb, where you lost your notebook.
Right.
You got a notebook. And I thought to myself, does Larry actually have a notebook like that?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, I got it. It's in my pocket.
You got it. Mm-hmm.
I got one. I know I have one. Jeez, I hope I didn't lose it again. I'm not kidding. I don't have it.
Maybe it's in the theater from last night. But
I probably forgot it.
But you do have something.
Can anybody figure out how to open these things? Oh, look, I did it. Yeah, okay.
But you keep something on you.
I do. I keep a notebook on me, and
when you see something that sparks an idea.
Yeah, I write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you keep like a huge raft of these ideas then?
Yeah. Then I have a bigger notebook. I have bigger notebooks that I transfer that idea that I wrote in the little notebook into the big notebook.
Right.
So then I have a big notebook filled with ideas.
Okay, so now you're going to write a show, or do you go through it and say, oh, I can use this one idea or that idea? Or how do you start the process of a show?
I really don't think this is any of your business.
It's a trade secret, I guess.
You're really asking me to give away my secrets.
Well, you're right. I am. I apologize for that, but...
I'll... usually there's an idea that's in my mind that I want to do. Like, for example, I remember seeing that nail, the Christ nail.
Christ nail, yes. Yeah.
And I thought, what's up with that nail?
Right.
So I found out that these nails exist and you could get them on the internet. And I said to my assistant, go get that nail for me. Track down that nail. So she got the nail, and I knew I had to do something with that Christ nail.
Right.
So that's sort of the beginning of it. Then it's like, okay, I've got this nail. I need to be able to take this nail off somebody and use it for my own purposes. And then I thought, who am I going to take the nail off? Then I'll take it off my father-in-law.
Yes.
What am I going to do with the nail once I take it off? Oh, I'll put up a mezuzah. How about that?